Good evening, I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Welcome to News Night. Voting for Delhi Assembly elections concluded today. After weeks of high-octane campaigning, fate of over 672, that's the exact number of candidates, have been sealed by people of Delhi. Voter turnout is over 57%. Final figure of the turnout is yet to come. Remember, in 2015, Delhi made a record by 67% voter turnout. Election Commission had the most important role to play today for the smooth conduct of the polls. Fewer VVPAT machines malfunctioned, pick-up and drop facility for citizens in need, and much more. After the hectic electoral exercise, there will be but one winner, one chief minister. Will Aam Aadmi Party, Arvind Kejriwal, make a hat-trick? Will the BJP repeat the clean sweep of Lok Sabha elections that happened a few months ago? Will Congress see revival after a zero in 2015? Well, these questions will be answered on February 11th, the day of the counting. Tonight, we discuss what these elections meant for different stakeholders, what issues, strategies dominated, and what do the exit poll trends that have just come in suggest. All that and more. Let's begin with the headlines.
Headlines is sponsored by Wonder Cement. Ek perfect shuruaat.
Moderate voter turnout for the 70 seats of Delhi Assembly elections. Polling peaceful. Results on Tuesday. Exit polls say Aam Aadmi Party to retain power in Delhi. Defence Expo 2020 in Lucknow officially concludes with a glittering closing ceremony. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh says Def Expo successful in projecting Uttar Pradesh's potential as defence manufacturing hub. Participation of highest number of exhibitors and adoption of Lucknow Declaration historic. India and Sri Lanka resolved to take bilateral relations to a new level. Prime Minister Narendra Modi urges the visiting Sri Lankan PM Mahinda Rajapaksa to take steps to strengthen process of reconciliation for Sri Lankan Tamils. Coronavirus spread in China refuses to relent. Death toll climbs to 723. Government completely on alert in India. Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan says 3 coronavirus cases confirmed in Kerala. Health Secretary reviews the novel coronavirus disease situation. And in sports, New Zealand defeat India by 22 runs in the second ODI in Auckland to take an unassailable 2-0 lead in the 3-match series.
Headlines was sponsored by Wonder Cement. Ek perfect shuruaat.
So our focus in this special edition of News Night will be on the Delhi elections. The tentative voter turnout of 57.06% was recorded in the assembly elections in Delhi today. In the last assembly polls, the overall voting percentage was 67%. Briefing reporters, Chief Electoral Officer of Delhi, Dr. Ranbir Singh said, election passed off peacefully in the national capital. He said the final voter turnout percentage is likely to increase as voting had not concluded at many places at the time of this press briefing.
At the moment, tentative data is 57.06%. It is bound to increase. It is definitely going to be more than 57.06% that it is showing right now. How much more, that you will know only in due course. By late night, we will have the final figures.
Voting started on a slow pace in the morning, but as the day progressed, large number of people came out to exercise their franchise at different polling booths. A total of 672 candidates are in the fray for the 70-member assembly. A maximum of 28 candidates are contesting from New Delhi constituency, the minimum of 4 persons from Patel Nagar seat. With the end of the polling, now all eyes are fixed on Tuesday, the day when the results are going to be announced. In the last assembly elections in 2015, Aam Aadmi Party had won whooping 67 seats. BJP bagged 3 seats, while the Congress failed to open an account. They did not win any seat. Ranbir Singh said that the overall voting was conducted peacefully as Election Commission had created a conducive atmosphere for free and fair polling.
overall, the entire process was extremely peaceful and smooth, and it was peaceful partly because a lot of enforcement and lot of effort to create a conducive atmosphere on ground was taken by the election machinery and the police machinery in Delhi.
Well, the election results are going to come on February 11th, but what has come now are the exit poll updates that generate a lot of excitement. Well, the exit poll of the Delhi Assembly election, as we look at the figures, forecast a comfortable victory for the ruling Aam Aadmi Party, despite a likely rise in tally for the BJP, who scored 3 seats in 2015 in the 70-member House. We'll now look at what the figures have come. These figures are also changing and are being updated. If you look at ABP News Sea Voter survey, Aam Aadmi Party gets between 49 to 63 seats. BJP can score between, that's a huge margin, 5 to 19 seats. Congress could again score a 0 according to ABP News, but also have 4. If you look at Times Now, Ipsos survey, Aam Aadmi Party has scored 47. These are exit poll figures, and these figures are updated. These are not final figures. Counting is on the 11th of February. The BJP, according to Times Now, exit poll has scored 23. It's a significant jump from the 3 seats. Congress has failed to open the account again, if Times Now were to be believed. If we look at TV9 Bharatvarsh, Cicero exit poll, out of the 70 seats of Delhi Assembly, Aam Aadmi Party gets 54, BJP 15, Congress opens an account, doesn't do much. 1 seat is what TV9 Bharatvarsh Cicero exit poll gives the Congress. Remember, it's a 70-member House. Aaj Tak Axis exit poll, Aam Aadmi Party, it gives a margin. Aam Aadmi Party could score between 59 to 68. So there's a possibility, according to Aaj Tak Axis poll, that Aam Aadmi Party could improve its whooping success of 2015. BJP, according to Aaj Tak Axis poll, could score between 2 seats to 11 seats. And the Congress, the third survey that says possibly Congress will not be able to open their score. We'll also look at the poll of polls. If you can look at it's sort of average of what the parties are going to be getting. These are approximations, not the final results. Out of 70 seats in Delhi Assembly, Aam Aadmi Party, at an average of the polls, it says could win around 51 seats. BJP plus the alliance members included could win up to 18 seats. And Congress has serious reasons to worry. The poll of polls, an average of the exit poll, suggests that Congress could just barely open a score if they could. 1 seat is what the poll of polls gives. So these are the exit poll figures that we have received. February 11th, let me clarify, is the date of the counting. Exit polls can go right, can go wrong. They give a certain trend. A small percentage of voters are taken as a sample, and their opinions determine what exit poll figures that we just saw. Now to talk more about the Delhi Assembly elections, the exit poll results that have come, I have special guests in the studio. Let me introduce you to them. I have with me from the BJP, Neha Joshi. Welcome, ma'am, to our studios. We have political analyst Hassan Rizvi, who's joining us in the studio as well. Welcome, sir, to our studio. Also, Sanjay Singh, senior journalist from firstpost.com. Welcome, Sanjay ji, as well. And just a disclaimer, we sent invitation to the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party to send a representative to talk about the issues, but there's nobody who's come. Unfortunate for Aam Aadmi Party in particular, because they seem to be doing rather well in these elections. We'll begin with the people, with the guests that we have in the studio. Neha ji, I'll begin with you. Exit poll numbers don't look good. 20 years of some say Vanvas, 2 decades that BJP has been wanting to come back in Delhi. Your first reaction to the figures that we just saw of the exit polls?
Thank you so much for having me. Very good evening to everyone. First of all, you know, if you look at these exit poll numbers from the perspective of where we started, you know, I think 3 weeks back, all the opinion polls that were doing the rounds predicted 3 to 4 seats, some said 7, that's the maximum they were giving BJP.
Right.
Cut to, you know, election day, you know, the predictions have been in the range of 9 seats to almost 30 seats. That's a wide range, you know, and hence it makes us believe that Maybe there have been several occasions in the past, including the UP elections of 2017 and several other elections where the exit polls have got it entirely wrong. So, you know, we trust our karyakartas, we trust our poll strategy, we trust the booth mobilization, the very effective booth mobilization that you saw in action post 3 p.m. today. We were able to get our voter out. We were able to get our voter excited.
So there was a spike as the
There
day
was a
concluded.
spike, yes.
Okay.
And, you know, if you look at the vote share of the BJP from the 2015 assembly election onwards, you know, 32.3%. In the 2016 MCD elections, we were at 37%. 2019 Lok Sabha elections, we were at 57%.
Yeah. In fact, we go further, 1998 onwards, I was looking at the figure, has been upward of 30%. We'll, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So I think taking all of this into account and the fact that Mr. Kejriwal was not able to defend his freebies, he was not able to defend the Shiksha Kranti, the alleged Shiksha Kranti that he was talking about beyond the newspaper ads, we are confident that we are going to cross the 40 mark and we are going to be in government come 11.
Okay, so you're also saying that you don't agree with the that figures of the exit polls that we've come. You're confident that the real figures are going to be something
exit
else.
polls have to be taken with a pinch of salt. We
All
respect the researchers and the people who do the exit polls. So
Fair
I'm not
enough.
going to diss it completely, just like the Congress party is, you know, used to be seen doing.
Fair enough. So before we talk about Aam Aadmi Party that seems to have a clear lead, Hassan Rizvi, I'll come to you. Congress has serious reasons to worry. There was a time when they were rather invincible with leadership of Sheila Dikshit, 3 continuous terms. And we talked about the poll percentage, as Neha just mentioned, that upward of 30%, BJP has always been able to maintain that sort of a voting percentage since 1998 when the Congress returned to power in Delhi. But it is the Congress that seemed to have lost the most with the rise of Aam Aadmi Party. How do you see this particular phenomena in Delhi elections?
Yes, you are true. I mean, Congress has deliberately lost the ground. I think reason lies not only in the emergence of Aam Aadmi Party, but also at the national level, which has the bearing on the Delhi election also. After the advent of the very different and I think charming kind of leadership shown by Mr. Narendra Modi, because he has a pan-India aura he has created and the kind of charisma he has depicted, and I mean, if I would not be wrong to say, the kind of political maneuvering and every kind of tactics and organizational competence under the leadership of Mr. Amit Shah, so Congress has to be at the back foot. And I think in the Delhi election also, and the recently in the recent assembly election like in Jharkhand and Maharashtra also, including Delhi election, it is a calculated strategy by the Congress party that to give enough leverage to the regional parties or those parties which have the footage or the grounding at the regional level, like in the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha in Jharkhand and in Delhi, particularly Aam Aadmi Party. Because in politics, what Congress has realized over a period of time that it does not have the matching leadership which the BJP as compared to BJP.
Are you saying Congress had that bigger heart to sort of almost give a leeway
it's a kind of
to the Aam Aadmi
compulsion
Party?
For the Congress party, because if you remember during the JP movement also, what happened actually, all the regional party came together and the single agenda was to throw Indira Gandhi rule. The same strategy is being now adopted by the Congress party deliberately. So it's a bigger goal right now is to push at least BJP for the time being and wait for the right moment, or at least for those assembly election where it has the strong presence like Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, etc.
Shubhendu ji, if you allow me, I just have a small question for
So
Rizvi.
were you fighting Aam Aadmi Party? Were you fighting Congress, BJP?
No, what I want to ask is that first, I think he's giving too much credit to the Congress. They,
No, I'm
they
not
were
giving
able to
credit.
strategize, but I'm just asking that, are you hinting that there was a tacit understanding between the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party here?
No, that I don't know, because the Congress at least on the surface level fielded all the candidates and all the 70 seats. But what happens, I mean, because it's a dilemma, and dilemma not as a larger organization of the Congress party, because Congress has been ruling the Delhi since its inception, so it has to field the candidate just to save their face. But at the same time, it was a true realization, and I would agree that in politics, you have to play the real politics.
All right, so you're observing
I'm observing
strategy. There is, of course, there's been no doubt that was informed. Sanjay ji, I'll come to you. Let's talk about Aam Aadmi Party. If the exit polls are to be believed, Arvind Kejriwal could become the chief minister the third time. First time he became in 2013 for a short period. They had an alliance with the Congress in 2013, didn't work out. 2015, Aam Aadmi Party comes back with a thumping majority, and now the exit polls suggest that Aam Aadmi Party could possibly return very comfortably. What do you think worked for them?
I think the biggest thing which worked for Kejriwal, was his own face, because BJP did not have a challenging or a challenger from amongst its rank. It was Amit Shah who took campaign charge in Delhi, and a very vigorous campaign, must say. And he energized his party cadre and workers, and also people to his supportive constituency. Because as Neha Joshi was saying, BJP always had this 30 to 35% of support base, solid support base, thick or thin. And under this, and next thing which worked for Kejriwal, I think, is his freebie politics. The biggest thing that people talked about was Bijli Pani free. And by doing that, he says that he fulfilled his promise, though there are several other promises which were not fulfilled. But in politics, one goes by the perception created by a leader, and for himself and for his party, also for his government, if he is incumbent. In that case, Kejriwal's these freebies on Bijli Pani, and also this latest free ride for women in buses. So you target your constituency, nothing wrong in that. In politics, you target your social constituency. You also deliver some
so
social
freebies
goods
is not new, but you think it worked in Delhi for
They
Kejriwal?
essentially worked, and also Kejriwal is a very smart politician. When people are actually, Shaheen Bagh is a very charged issue. Kejriwal never himself pissed on that account. Manish Sisodia once said he stands by Shaheen Bagh, but Kejriwal same day he said this is not my job. There is union government's job as to clear that particular stretch of road. And then again his reassertion of his Hindu identity by reciting
distancing from
Chalisa
Shaheen
and so
Bagh
on.
and also
Precisely.
right. Neha, I'll come to you. Shaheen Bagh we'll talk about in detail. Sanjay ji, Neha, face is important in elections in the country. We saw great success that Prime Minister Modi received for the second term in the elections last year. Why did BJP decide to go without a face? Although BJP has won elections with face, without a chief minister's face, this time, what was the strategy for the BJP vis-a-vis a CM face? What did you have in mind?
Shubhendu-ji, there's no one right way to contest an election.
Certainly.
And, you know, even with having projected a CM candidate, you know, there's no guarantee that that's going to work. I mean, we had a clear CM candidate in Maharashtra, and somehow things didn't pan out the way. Even after being the single largest party, we were not able to form the government.
Certainly.
So there are many
And Uttar Pradesh is another
permutations
example where you didn't have a CM face.
Exactly. So I think, you know, as a strategy, we have several tall leaders in Delhi who could potentially be the chief minister. But I think what was important for this election for the BJP was to reinvigorate the cadre. You know, we've not been in power in Delhi for several decades now. You know, somewhere down the line, the Karyakarta starts getting affected. What we have effectively been able to do with this election, you see, is really mobilize the Karyakarta right down to the booth and the Panna Pramukh level. The kind of energy, you know, I was on the ground personally in several constituencies across Delhi, and the kind of booth management, the kind of energy that we saw in Karyakartas, you know, Delhi BJP units were themselves astonished to see the kind of energy that our national president and the home minister.
But was that difficult, considering that in the national elections, BJP once again swept all the seats of Delhi? So that sort of motivation must have...
There was the motivation, but there was also, you know, like Sanjay ji talked about, there was this propaganda that was doing the rounds, that, you know, AAP is going to sweep, the kind of opinion polls we saw. But when our leaders went to the ground, the kind of mobilization that we saw, it was outstanding. And, you know, we were able to get into each gully, we were able to get into each basti, and that in itself gave confidence to the people that if Mr. Modi can deliver the kind of government that he's delivering at the center, there's no way that the BJP can't do it in the state.
Right, and but as Sanjay ji mentioned that you will have to agree that Kejriwal really became the face of the campaign for his party. We see the posters. With a challenge like that was in front of you, did you not think perhaps because you are contesting against a party that is projecting one person, almost like a cult, that you're taking on a chief ministerial candidate and then putting the force behind that person would have worked? Do you think that could have been a possible strategy?
See, Subhendu, collective leadership works. Going to an election in collective leadership, as Neha Joshi pointed about UP, about earlier in Maharashtra.
Right.
But that works when there is a very strong anti-incumbency about the incumbent, and therefore you go in that direction, and people actually estimate as to who could be chief minister. This is a situation whereby incumbent was sitting on a very strong platform. When these elections began, when election commission announced election dates, I think BJP cadre itself, BJP workers and leaders, at least in Delhi unit and middle level workers, they were thinking in terms of single digit, lower side of single digit.
Right.
From there on, the party president and home minister, then he was home minister, subsequently party president.
All leaders were present, yes.
Yeah, all tall leaders and smaller workers from different parts, they really energized the campaign. Fact remains, when people actually go and decide, Kejriwal was catering to both sentiments. A, Shaheen Bagh sentiment, and B, the nationalist sentiment, so to say, or the Hindu nationalist sentiment, by projecting himself as Kattar Hanuman Bhatt, and also by rest of his, say, Tirth Yatra programs and so on and so forth. His Hindu identity was never in question, unlike Rahul Gandhi's Hindu identity. And also Kejriwal, in terms of publicity, he has a very smart publicity platform. Whatever he did in terms of schools and hospitals, those things actually do stand on the ground or don't stand on the ground, the elections are over. But the way he projected himself, he enhanced Delhi government's advertisement budget in first budget itself. And then there was, he knew that criticism would be going to be there for 2 or 3 days. Subsequently using that to his benefit,
I'd like
plus
to rebut
he is a good orator also, and therefore I think those he managed elections in those terms.
But Neha, BJP found an occasion to attack Arvind Kejriwal as far as that Hindu identity part was concerned. There were occasions when what was going on there?
Before I talk about that, I'd like to, I'll beg to differ with Sanjay ji when he talks about, education and advertisement. I feel, all the exit polls today have predicted that Mr. Sisodia might be losing his own seat. He was actually the face of the alleged education kranti in Delhi. And when you see that kind of boomeranging, it really makes you question that do people believe in these advertisements? Is advertisements all that you need to, for development? So I think because he talked so much about it, people began asking questions. They began looking for those schools that he spoke about, and where they couldn't find it in their neighborhood, in their mohallas, the mohalla clinics were, abandoned, were not functioning. So when people start asking those questions, because you're constantly harping on that and they're nowhere to be seen. So I think that even though he's giving credit to the, his advertising and all of campaign for that, I think that might have boomeranged.
All right. Hassan ji, if I can come to you. Let's talk about Congress and how they've fared. I mean, we looked at the exit poll figures. We're talking about leadership. We're talking about face of the campaign, a potential chief ministerial candidate. We saw a debacle of the Congress in the national elections once again. And not much changed. That didn't really, except for a president resigning and then a new president coming back. There was no surprises from the Congress side. How prepared do you think they were? Apart from the strategy that you said possibly worked in favor of the Aam Aadmi Party, without a leadership phase at the national level, without a leadership phase in the state, in the union, state level of Delhi Assembly elections, what were the expectations from the Congress, you think? The leadership crisis seemed to be reverberating.
I told you in my previous remarks also, I'm not going to repeat the same thing, just to summarize that the Congress has realized it, and I think it is the right thing that they have realized that if the BJP is the bigger challenge, I think they should give the enough space to the other opposition party which they have been giving. So as far as the leadership is concerned, it is also a fact that the matching leadership is not available in Congress party, whether Rahul Gandhi stays or the Sonia Gandhi comes, or for that matter, any new person comes. What Congress has to realize, and they have, they have drawn the benefit also at the regional level, be it the Captain Amarinder Singh or giving, I mean, enough leverage to the NCP, their coalition partner Sharad Pawar, and where they are not present, like in Delhi, once Sheila Dikshit era is over, there is no matching leadership because the Sheila Dikshit was rejected and the Congress party under her dispensation was rejected. She herself lost the election. So it's a true realization by the Congress party. So what, as far as the organizational competence is concerned, under the stewardship of Sheila Dikshit, there was the organizational competence, but now since after the advent of Mr. Amit Shah, there is no second thought about that Congress party does not match as far as the organizational competence is concerned. So I think there is nothing wrong if I say, obviously because it is the internal matter of the Congress party to think, because if they want to, I mean, make a new pitch in Delhi or for that matter on those areas where they used to rule, be it the Bihar or UP or Jharkhand or some other states, they have to find the regional satrapas. I think I would also like to comment on what Neha was telling about BJP thing. I tell you, this leadership crisis, be it the Delhi, because they did not declare the chief ministership, it is the kind of organizational direction as far as the leadership shown by Mr. Narendra Modi in the new advent of BJP, where they have developed the dependency syndrome in their regional Indian state leadership. Because even the states where they used to rule, like Chhattisgarh or MP or Rajasthan, or for that matter Delhi, they were vying for that matter, what they have done, they have given an indirect message to the state leadership that till the time Mr. Amit Shah is at the helm and the Mr. Modi charisma is there, you don't worry, because everything we will take care, because they have been parachuting so many leaders from the central headquarter and ministers and MPs and etc., giving indirectly message ki aap ghabraiega mat, I am always there. So this kind of complacency have developed in the state leadership. Here I think the Congress can build up their own party and the regional satrapas. This is the message I would like to give to the Congress party particularly, to better, rather than thinking that how you can substitute the central leadership by replacing Rahul Gandhi or bringing Sonia Gandhi, or for that matter bringing in Shashi Tharoor or those any leader. It's better to invest in their regional satrapas, because BJP is not thinking seriously in developing the competence of regional satrapas.
So there are a lot of pressure, a lot of expectations from Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah, to lead the party to victories time and again, because you see in 2014 also the big election victory that Prime Minister Modi had, and then 2015 assembly elections happened, then too Prime Minister was leading from the front for the BJP. So is there an unrealistic expectation from the two leaders in the BJP as far as state elections?
Not at all. You know, these two leaders have shown exceptional leadership. You know, by their own doing, they've managed
but
to...
so much that they overshadow a possibility of a...
No, hear me out, hear me out. Okay. You know, once in a, maybe a matter of a century, you get a leader who truly deserves all that admiration, who truly deserves all the hype, for lack of a better word, that they get. So, however, you know, what I would like to point out here to Rizvi Saab is that, you know, Maharashtra elections were clearly fought under the leadership of Devendra Fadnavis. We had a clear CM candidate. The same was the case in Jharkhand and Haryana as well. So, you know, this assumption that we do not, or the, you know, Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah don't want to create regional leadership is absolutely incorrect. There are various factors that play into why a party loses or wins an election, or why a party, despite getting the people's mandate and emerging as the single largest party, even then, you know, does not manage to form a government. So I think, but that's a totally outlandish thing to say, that Narendra Modi ji or Amit Shah ji have an intention of, you know, not developing a strong leadership, because we know that unless we strengthen our state leadership,
no, we don't say that they mean to do that. We don't think they mean to do that. It could also be by default.
That's what
that is my real motive
sort of implied. I don't think that there is that sort of a complacency when it comes to BJP cadre.
No, what you have already said, I mean, it's true that obviously by default the kind of leadership and organizational direction these two people, Narendra Modi and Amit Shah, have shown to the state leadership. When Raghubar Das lost the election, when Jharkhand they lost the election, can you know the forget about the political leadership, even the governance, the way the governance was being done in the Jharkhand, and for that matter in Manohar Lal Khattar, when the number of the BJP was reduced. The reason was that even these people are emulating, the state chief minister of the BJP have been emulating the governance style, I mean centralized governance style at their state level, which is actually detaching the actual party cadres, because the people feel that they should have the access to the state leadership. They cannot totally and second thing which is very important, because these state leader does not have that kind of charisma which Mr. Narendra Modi has or Amit Shah has.
Fine.
So what happens
Two
is they
very
simply
separate, very different points that
So
you're
the-
making here,
no, what-
and they're contradicting each other if you see.
So, no, Neha, what I am highlighting, because if they could have developed these competence and they could have given the enough space to the state leadership, the situation would have been better. What I am highlighting, at least the space created by these central BJP leadership in their respective state should be grabbed by the Congress party.
Okay.
It
some point
almost
taken
seems
by
like you're
that.
trying to say that having a leader worth emulating or looking up to seems like a disadvantage.
No, I
here.
think it's more of a default.
No, I mean
situation that we're talking
imitating
about,
someone
but
without
possibly,
having the charisma, imitating a
No,
particular
you say
approach.
imitate, I say being inspired by. So
All
there's
right.
always
No, but-
two
but-
ways of looking
So
at the same
because
thing.
when
extent,
results
to
are
what
coming
extent?
out, Neha, you tell me what are the reasons.
Fair enough. And in
If you are
February
refuting
11th,
every point, then you tell me that what are the reasons that the BJP is
Hassan ji, you
losing.
And
made
I
your point.
said that
It's
there
fair
are
enough, fair
multiple
enough.
reasons
Right.
So you
why
tell
a
me
party
one,
does
two
not
reasons.
able to
Hassan,
form a government.
you've both made your points, fair enough. And of course, February 11th
See-
is when this talk will make more sense. Sanjay ji, didn't give you a chance to speak for a long time. Coming to you, sir, let's move a little forward. Let's look at the bigger picture. And I'll request my producer if you can have those exit poll figures again on the screen. We can just refer to them. These are the exit poll figures that have come. ABP News See Voter says that Aam Aadmi Party could get between 49 to 63 seats. Congress could score between 0 to 4. Times Now Ipsos survey says Aam Aadmi Party could get 47. BJP could rise to 23 from 3 that they got in 2015. And Congress would score a 0 according to Times Now. TV9 Bharatvarsh Cicero survey gives AAP 54 seats, BJP 15 seats, Congress 1 seat. An Aaj Tak Axis poll gives Aam Aadmi Party 59 to 68 seats. These figures are changing as more data is being received by these firms, and 2 to 11 seats to BJP. And Congress again would score 0. There's also a poll of polls poll that has come. It's sort of an average of who is likely to win. These are only based on samples. These are not real numbers. Real numbers will come on February 11th. Sanjay ji, I'll come to you just to understand the significance of Delhi elections. From the past trends, to what extent do you see Delhi elections get inspired from the trends of national politics, or politics of states around it, and to what extent does it then inspire politics ahead? How significant do you see Delhi elections is?
See, Suvendu, so Delhi, first we must understand that Delhi assembly competence or chief minister's actual competence vis-a-vis the powers and authority he has is kind of has a very disproportionate media coverage as to the powers and responsibility that he
Absolutely,
enjoys.
no doubt about that. Yeah.
First point that. Second point, if you look at these numbers, they of course give an advantage, clear advantage to Arvind Kejriwal.
Right.
But here is a situation where Kejriwal had a huge lead, so to say, in first inning or in a 50 overs match, and then enters Amit Shah in slog overs and takes the team forward. And then you actually start speculating as to whether it is going to win or stop somewhere.
Actually reminds me of the
some-
Rajasthan elections. If you
Rajasthan
remember, there was a
elections.
sweep that was expected
Yeah.
by the
Yeah.
Congress, but they managed.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
go on.
yeah, precisely. Then you have that kind of a situation. Now you have third player in the city, which is Congress party. Congress party, some would say Congress party, it was strategy. I don't know what kind of strategy it is to kind of to dump your own party for benefit of some other party.
It's strange,
And then
but,
that
that's it.
particular party is your rival, and don't forget that party rose and was born opposing you and calling names to you and your party leaders. And then you also had Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, a new addition in Congress's campaign. Manmohan Singh also campaigned. Manmohan Singh, who usually go to different states, hold a press conference,
Right.
but this time around he also held a rally. And then Congress party again staring at 0, and don't forget it was under Sheila Dikshit leadership that Congress party had come on number 3 in Delhi city. The last election she fought after being chief minister for 15 years. Then she was again there when the Congress scored a 0. And this time again Congress is staring at that possibility. I think Congress needs serious introspection, which the party never does. It will again fall back to Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi. Beyond a family, I don't think Congress party has anything to do. But fact remains, even if there is a parliamentary election today, voters in different, you talked about Rajasthan. When I went to Rajasthan to cover Rajasthan assembly election, I had a clear indication that Congress will come to power here. And in parliamentary election, BJP will repeat same performance. And I wrote that in as many words, that those are printed words, that come parliamentary election, BJP will get to its 2014 numbers. So voters today are also kind of making a split voting, making a difference between parliamentary elections and the state election. They think Kejriwal will do good for
it's also
Delhi,
healthy for the
and in
democracy to be
parliament.
able to think differently for Lok Sabha and assembly elections. And we really nearing the end of the discussion. One final subject that just wanted to touch upon, Shaheen Bagh CAA related protests. The assembly election had the potential for discussion and debates and attacks on development agenda, but somehow Shaheen Bagh, to a great extent, took a center stage. Very briefly, I'll take comments from you guys, three of you, who seem to have benefited from the Shaheen Bagh issue in the manner they positioned themselves. I'll begin with you, Sanjay, then I'll come to.
See, if Shaheen Bagh issue was not there, I don't think BJP would have been in this situation. When people are actually talking about
the rise that you've seen
defeat in dignity, or
So they will not get dignified. Okay.
pushing elections to a dignified numbers and still going there, because people actually feel something that's a campaign. I seriously don't agree with Shaheen Bagh protesters as to there is nothing in CAA that you say that disenfranchise or throw Muslims out of the country.
So, Neha, I'll come to you.
Thank you, Sanjay ji, first of all, for clarifying that and putting the right word out. I have somehow seen the tendency for a lot of people who come on TV to not say that explicitly. So thank you for saying that. When did this Shaheen Bagh protest start? If you, recall the beginning of the election campaign, we questioned Mr. Kejriwal about why is it that the number of buses plying on the roads of Delhi have reduced? Why is it that the school, the education kranti that you talk about is limited to 5 schools? Why are the mohalla clinics not functioning? So when all of these questions were left unanswered, Shaheen Bagh propped up. Like Sanjay ji pointed out, there seems to be no rationale behind why the protest is being carried out. There seems to be no logical end to it.
Mr. Kejriwal was
The law minister himself has offered several times to hold talks with the protesters, but to no avail. Mr. Kejriwal might have tried to distance himself, but the fact remains that Mr. Amanatullah Khan was seen leading this protest. Sanjay Singh visited Shaheen Bagh and offered solidarity. Deputy Chief Minister said he would firmly stand with the protesters at Shaheen Bagh. And all of this, it's not about polarization. It's about the thousands of people who were stuck in traffic the entire day. This is about a little infant who died. All of those factors do have a bearing on the voter when he or she goes and casts
Sanjay,
their
I'll come
vote.
to you finally. How do you see Shaheen Bagh played a role in
I
these
think
elections?
it's very ironical when the people say that Shaheen Bagh has given some leverage to the Aam Aadmi Party. I mean, if you go by the sheer
No,
number...
we're saying it has boomeranged.
No, I tell you, because a commoner person, he does not know ABC of the number. I mean, they know even if he could have managed Kejriwal, or for that matter, I mean, how many percent, what is the percentage of minorities? Because Shaheen Bagh or CA is generally labeled as pro-Muslim movement. I mean, so when pro-Muslim movement, 12% Muslim is all over India. I mean, I don't have the figure of what is the percentage of Muslim
What's
in
the
Delhi.
key argument,
I
Hassan
mean,
ji?
so argument is that if Shaheen Bagh is such a big issue, I think 88% of the non-Muslim population would have been mobilized together by the BJP. So the point is that why people are saying that Shaheen Bagh has given enough space, because if the BJP has the adequate platform
But
to talk
it's
about...
the idea behind Shaheen Bagh.
Listen, so if you are talking
What
and
it stands
labeling
for,
Shaheen Bagh...
the Sharjeel Imams.
Listen,
That's the idea.
They were disturbing
the
remarks for
question
sure,
is that the Muslim is equated with Shaheen Bagh, and Shaheen Bagh is equated with Muslim. every time the biryani khilao
possibly-
and Muslim and etc.
All right, so
So, I
possibly
mean
it
the
can.
non-Muslim people are getting mobilized.
So, Hassanji, as I understand, people of Delhi, if the exit polls are to be believed, had more
So
in
we
their
have
mind,
to
except,
accept this fact that at least Shaheen Bagh has backstabbed to BJP, I tell you.
Okay,
Because
if that's your point, we'll have to understand how.
I mean,
but that's all the time we had.
it happened that the
gentlemen.
BJP was pushed back.
All
He's
right.
saying
Because
Amanatullah Khan
Hassanji, I think
BJP.
we'll take a little
Because
more
the-
time to understand that argument, but thank you very much for making your point.
Thank
you, Sanjay ji. Thank you, Neha, for joining us in the studio. Well, those were some thoughts on the Delhi elections. We looked at the exit poll figures, but February 11th is when the real talk and discussion would happen, when the results of the Delhi elections will be out. Let's move on to some other stories that came in today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held talks with his Sri Lankan counterpart Mahinda Rajapaksa in New Delhi. Both leaders discussed a number of issues, including terrorism and bilateral ties in key sectors. Prime Minister Modi said India and Sri Lanka have fought against terror, and both countries have agreed to further increase cooperation against this menace to humanity.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday said that terrorism is a major problem in the region and India and Sri Lanka have fought it befittingly. Delivering a press statement after holding talks with his Sri Lankan counterpart Mahinda Rajapaksa, PM said both countries will further increase cooperation against terror.
आतंकवाद हमारे क्षेत्र में एक बहुत बड़ा खतरा है। हम दोनों देशों ने इस समस्या को डटकर मुकाबला किया है। पिछले साल अप्रैल में श्रीलंका में ईस्टर डे पर दर्दनाक और बर्बर आतंकी हमले हुए थे। ये हमले सिर्फ श्रीलंका पर ही नहीं, पूरी मानवता पर भी आघात थे और इसलिए आज की हमारी बातचीत में हमने आतंकवाद के खिलाफ अपना सहयोग और बढ़ाने पर चर्चा की। मुझे इस बात पर प्रसन्नता है कि भारत के प्रमुख ट्रेनिंग संस्थानों में आतंकवाद विरोधी कोर्सेज में श्रीलंका के पुलिस अधिकारियों ने हिस्सा लेना शुरू किया है। दोनों देशों की एजेंसीज के बीच संपर्क और सहयोग को और अधिक मजबूत करने के लिए भी हम प्रतिबद्ध हैं।
Prime Minister said that the issue of reconciliation in Sri Lanka was also discussed in the meeting, and he expressed hope that Sri Lanka will take all steps for maintaining equality, peace and justice in united Sri Lanka.
श्रीलंका में रिकंसिलिएशन से संबंधित मुद्दों पर हमने खुले मन से बातचीत की। मुझे विश्वास है कि श्रीलंका सरकार यूनाइटेड श्रीलंका के भीतर समानता, न्याय, शांति और सम्मान के लिए तमिल लोगों की अपेक्षाओं को साकार करेगी। इसके लिए ये आवश्यक होगा कि श्रीलंका के संविधान में 13वें संशोधन को लागू करने के साथ-साथ रिकंसिलिएशन की प्रक्रिया को आगे ले जाया जाए।
PM said Sri Lanka's development and peace is important to India and New Delhi gives special priority to ties between both the nations as part of our neighborhood first policy. Sri Lankan PM Mahinda Rajapaksa thanked PM Modi for his priority to neighborhood first policy and expressed hope that bilateral ties in key sectors would scale new heights in the coming days.
I want to thank Prime Minister Modi for his government's neighborhood first policy and the priority that he attached to relations with Sri Lanka. We agree that our cooperation is multifaceted, with the priority given to a number of areas, including security, economy, culture, and social sectors.
Both the leaders also discussed ways to increase tourism potential and people-to-people connect between the two neighbors. With Anuj Yadav and Shailendra Mishra, Bureau Report, DD News.
Successful in projecting Uttar Pradesh as a potential for defence manufacturing hub. This is what Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh had to say. Also, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath spoke about how the event laid a strong foundation for development of the state and also the defence corridor that was much talked about. Participation of exhibitors was also the highest ever. Adoption of Lucknow Declaration was particularly historic. Indian Armed Forces won hearts of people with their daredevil live demonstrations as well. Here's more.
Lucknow, known for culture and etiquette, witnessed the best of Indian artillery with the courage and bravery of the Indian Armed Forces on display. And the Navy displaying their skills on the Gomti River, and fighter planes and choppers dominating the skyline of Lucknow. The formal culmination of the first ever Defence Expo 2020 in Lucknow took place on Saturday, when the world watched the courage, artillery and military skills that our country is proud of. Addressing the valedictory function, Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh said that during the Bandhan ceremony, 71 MOUs were signed while 13 product launches took place. Over 200 agreements were signed during the expo, including 23 agreements with the Uttar Pradesh government.
डेफ एक्सपो के बंधन समारोह में जहां 71 MOUs और 13 प्रोडक्ट्स लॉन्च हुए, 6 मेजर अनाउंसमेंट्स हुए और 18 टेक्नोलॉजी ट्रांसफर एग्रीमेंट हुए, वहीं पर पैरेलल हमारी जो PSUs हैं और फॉरेन OEMs सहित अन्य प्राइवेट कंपनीज के साथ भी करीबन 100 एग्रीमेंट्स हुए हैं। यानी डेफ एक्सपो के दौरान टोटल एग्रीमेंट्स की संख्या 200 पार कर गई और मैं यह मानता हूं कि इन एग्रीमेंट्स ने एक नया इतिहास रच दिया है।
Rajnath Singh said that procurement process is being simplified and that Defence Expo has given a global identity to Lucknow.
हमारी दूरदर्शी और प्रगतिशील नीतियों में बदलाव के कारण ही यह संभव हो पाया है। और जैसा कि आप जानते हैं कि इंडस्ट्री लाइसेंसिंग प्रोसेस को सिंप्लीफाई किया गया है, FDI कैप को भी बढ़ाया गया है और साथ ही डिफेंस एक्सपोर्ट प्रमोशन के लिए जो भी आवश्यक कदम हो सकते हैं वह आवश्यक कदम भी उठाए गए हैं।
Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said that during Def Expo 2020, investment proposals worth 50,000 crore rupees is on the anvil.
पहली बार 40 देशों के रक्षा मंत्री 70 देशों की सहभागिता के साथ 3000 से अधिक फॉरेन डेलीगेट्स किसी आयोजन में सहभागी बने। 10,000 से अधिक डेलीगेट्स पूरे देश से इस आयोजन में सहभागी बने और मेरा अनुमान है कि कल तक इस पूरे आयोजन में लखनऊ और प्रदेश के 12 लाख से अधिक लोग सहभागी बनने जा रहे हैं। इस पूरे आयोजन में भागीदार बनने जा रहे हैं। अपने आप में एक बड़ा आयोजन हो गया है और डिफेंस की दृष्टि से देखेंगे तो अपने आप में एक महाकुंभ हो गया है।
In this Def Expo, 1,024 exhibitors participated, 172 of them being foreign companies. 40 defense ministers were part of the total 70 foreign delegations that visited Lucknow. It also showed that India is not behind any other country in terms of digital technology prowess. As the Def Expo was thrown open for the public, huge crowds thronged the venue. Thousands of young and old men, women and children were seen visiting various pavilions and trying to acquaint themselves with the defense equipment on display.
Even as Defence Expo 20 came to a close, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh claimed that Defence Expo 20 achieved much more than the previous editions, be it in terms of participation of companies or the promised investments. The strategic dimension of Defence Expo was the first ever India-Africa Defence Ministers Conclave, which added a strategic heft that India wants not just to become a manufacturing hub of defence equipment and technologies, but an exporting one. With my colleagues Sudhir Yadav and Om Prakash Das and camera person Sushil Sharma, Amritpal Singh, DD News, Lucknow.
In a tragic incident, 2 boys were killed and 9 people injured in a firecracker explosion during a religious procession in Punjab's Taran district. The explosion took place around 4:30 p.m. when sparks from crackers being burst by people during the Nagar Kirtan near Pahuwan village landed on a tractor trolley where the fireworks were stacked. The deceased have been identified as Manpreet Singh and Gurpreet Singh. In Chandigarh, Chief Minister Amrinder Singh ordered a magisterial probe into the incident and also announced an ex gratia grant of ₹5 lakhs for the kin of the deceased and free treatment to the injured admitted in the local civil hospital and Guru Nanak Dev Charitable Hospital. The police said explosion took place when some youngsters were bursting crackers near the Dalke Mor in Palasore. In some international news, in Thailand, at least 17 people have been shot dead and many injured when a Thai soldier opened fire in the city of Korat today. Confirming the incident, a defense ministry spokesman told the media that a junior officer had attacked his commanding officer before stealing a gun and ammunition from a military camp. He said that the soldier then opened fire at a Buddhist temple and at a shopping center in the city northeast of Bangkok. Local media footage appears to show that the suspect getting out of a Humvee-type vehicle in front of Terminal 21 shopping center in Muang district and firing indiscriminately as people flee. Authorities have sealed off the center as they are trying to track down the suspect, who is reportedly inside of the building. The suspect's motive remains unclear as of now. And once again, we share the update about the tragic news that happened in Punjab. 2 boys have been killed in a firecracker accident. Moving on, the death toll in China's novel coronavirus outbreak has sharply risen to 723, with 86 new mortalities in a single day, mostly in the worst affected Hubei province, which is the epicenter of the virus, while the total number of confirmed cases have jumped to 34,546. Chinese health officials gave these figures on Saturday. Meanwhile, China is taking wartime measures to stop coronavirus in Wuhan and elsewhere.
China is taking wartime measures to stop coronavirus in Wuhan. It has ordered Wuhan to round up all suspected coronavirus patients as well as their close contacts in mass quarantine camps. Officials in Wuhan said that the city is now in a critical period in its battle against the spread of the novel coronavirus, and health officials are now carrying out door-to-door health checks to identify potential carriers who would need to be isolated. Death toll due to coronavirus epidemic has jumped to 723 across China and 1 in the Philippines, while the total number of confirmed cases jumped to 34,546. The virus has spread to over 24 countries, prompting several governments to ban arrivals from China and urge their citizens to avoid traveling to the country. Some have recommended that their citizens leave China. Major airlines have suspended flights to and from China. The viral outbreak has infected more than 34,800 people globally. The latest figures reported by global health authorities as of Saturday in Beijing are a total of 34,546 confirmed cases on mainland China. In addition, Hong Kong has had 25 cases, including 1 death. Macau has had 10, Japan 89, Singapore 33, Thailand 32, South Korea 24, Australia 14, Germany 13, United States 12, Taiwan 16, Malaysia 15, Vietnam 13, France 6, United Arab Emirates 5, Canada 6, United Kingdom 3, India 3, Philippines 3, including 1 death, Russia 2, Italy 3, Britain 3, Belgium 1, Nepal 1, Sri Lanka 1, Sweden 1, Spain 1, Cambodia 1, and Finland 1. World Health Organization Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus has warned that the world is running out of masks and other protective equipment against the novel coronavirus. Talking to WHO's Executive Board in Geneva, Tedros said that he will speak to members of the supply chain network for protective gear to try and resolve bottlenecks in the production.
The world is facing chronic shortage of personal protective equipment, as you might imagine. This afternoon, I will be speaking to the pandemic supply chain network to identify the bottlenecks and find solutions and push with fairness in distribution of equipments. As of 6 a.m. Geneva time today, there were 31,211 confirmed cases in China and 637 deaths. For the last 2 days, there have been fewer reported new infections in China, which is good news, but we caution against reading too much into that. The numbers could go up again.
China has mourned the death of a Chinese doctor who tried to warn about the coronavirus outbreak amid widespread public anger against the government for trying to suppress the whistleblower. The Lianchan Hospital, the second of the two emergency specialty field hospitals built in Wuhan city of central China's Hubei province to combat the novel coronavirus outbreak, on Saturday started admitting patients infected by the highly contagious virus. The hospital, located in the city's Jiangxia district, consists of 32 isolation wards, an examination area and a resting area for medical workers. It can accommodate 1,500 patients at the same time. Except the intensive care units, every ward has 2 beds. Bureau Report, DD India.
And back home in India, Health Secretary Preeti Sudan on Saturday reviewed the current situation of the novel coronavirus disease with the concerned officials in the country. She discussed the present status and preparedness on the issues of spread of novel coronavirus. Universal screening for all flights from Singapore and Thailand, besides Hong Kong and China, is going on at earmarked aero bridges. The screening of passengers is on all 21 airports, international seaports and border crossings of the country. As of now, 1,636 flights and 1,76,703 passengers have been screened at the designated 21 airports. Some sports update. New Zealand wrapped up the one-day series against India with veteran Ross Taylor and debutant Kyle Jamieson combining to set up a 22-run win in the Game 2 of Auckland on Saturday. India were dismissed at 251 with 9 balls remaining in their innings. Ravindra Jadeja along with Navdeep Saini raised some visions of pulling off an improbable win with a 76-run partnership, but it ended in win.
New Zealand exorcised the ghost of a nightmarish T20 whitewash with a series-clinching 22-run victory against India in the second ODI on Saturday, with the visitors paying price for some poor shot selection. Put into bat first, opener Martin Guptill smashed runner ball 79 to give Black Caps a good start, but they lost 7 wickets for 55 runs to look down the barrel at one stage. The breakthrough came only in the 17th over as Yuzvendra Chahal trapped Henry Nicholas LBW. In form, Ross Taylor produced a rearguard act with an unbeaten half-century to rescue New Zealand to a competitive 273 for 8 in 50 overs. New Zealand were in danger of not crossing 200 when Tim Southee was caught off Chahal. The leg spinner finished with 3 for 58. However, Taylor had other ideas as he rebuilt the innings with clever batting. He found an able partner in Jamieson as they ran hard between the wickets to elevate the score before stepping on the gas later in the innings. New Zealand scored 53 in the last 5 overs, crossing 250 in the 48th over. India lost openers Mayank Agarwal and Prithvi Shaw early in replies to New Zealand 273 for 8. Tim Southee had given India a body blow by cleaning up captain Virat Kohli. KL Rahul contributed just 4 runs. Ravindra Jadeja and Navdeep Saini raised some hopes for India down the order with a good partnership, but Saini was bowled by Jamieson for 45. Ravindra Jadeja made 55 runs before being removed by Nisham, and India fell short by 22 runs in their chase. Jadeja tried to heave a Nisham full toss over the boundary, but only picks out D. Grant home at long off. The win was more creditable as regular skipper Kane Williamson along with top bowlers Trent Boult, Lockie Ferguson were unavailable. New Zealand's 6-foot, 8-inch debutant Kyle Jamieson got Player of the Match award for his all-round show. Sports Desk, DD News.
And with that, we conclude the special edition of Newsnight. Namaskar.